Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a Symphonic Note. These are quick cutscenes that Symphony offers that run parallel with our ongoing Vampire the Masquerade campaign, Sanguine Arch. These brief scenes are high impact, emotionally dense, valuable in some aspect of this world that we're cultivating together, and it gives you some additional insight onto the characters that populate this world and the connective tissue that we as storytellers, all of us, are coming together and building together. This symphonic note is called Dossiers. Kevin, you are heading to OSU's campus tonight. It's a Tuesday evening. Columbus is dealing with a week of rain, but it's spring, so that's not really surprising. We're in one of those weird areas where you can have your air conditioning on during the afternoon and your heat on during the evening, and the rain is already flooding certain parts of campus. Certain parts of the Olentangy River are just overflowing. It's Columbus.
Yeah.
This is seasonal. This environmental event isn't even an anomaly at this point. It's almost to be expected. The year is 2025. You've had a very interesting past couple of weeks. Less than 2 weeks ago, you found out that Vienna fell. The Great Chantry in Vienna fell. The Tremere Pyramid is broken. The night after you received that news, someone knew that La Sombra Harpy claimed Praxis. Things are changing very, very quickly. Why are you heading to OSU tonight, Kevin?
I'm heading to OSU because I know where to make contact with a couple of. But I think most importantly, I'm coming to campus to meet with some of the local NOS contacts I worked with to help set up the early alert network. Um,
Mm.
Celeste has not asked me to do this, but I've started putting feelers out there about movers and shakers in the city and
Mm-hmm.
maybe what we can find about Vienna online.
Smart. Tapping a resource like Clan Nosferatu is definitely a wise move. So you're heading to OSU's campus to meet with whom?
Uh, I know him as Odex. I don't know if that's their actual name or if that's just their handle or what, but that's what they prefer to be called. Um, and perhaps unusually for a vampire, I have picked up from the local 24-hour pizza joint a huge steaming hot meatball sub.
Better be from Tony's.
It is from wherever he knows Odex would would be interested in.
Tony's officially
Yeah, it is a
a big steaming meatball sub.
yep. Probably literally steaming in the cold night air. So
I like this. I appreciate this. Okay, so you're heading on to OSU's campus to meet with this Nosferatu by the name of Odex. Now, we touched on this very briefly in your prologue episode, but former Prince Yu
Mhm.
was very intentional about having this emergency beacon that could reach every kindred within the city in the event that there was an event and everyone needed to be called in or a warning needed to go out. Some kindred have an aversion to technology, rightfully so.
Mhm.
It's one of the easiest ways that you can be hunted. Some kindred double down like yourself and are looking for ways to weaponize technology against those that would use it to persecute you.
Mhm.
Whatever the reason, former Prince Yu went through various Nosferatu to help set up this network. That is a network that you were able to help participate in. That effort that you made gained you status from Prince Yu. What was that status? Was it helpful?
I got I got
Supportive?
supportive from that.
It was supportive that you received from that. The Bruja who was tangling with the Nosferatu to help set up this emergency platform. How do you arrive to OSU's campus?
Um, I think Kevin is still enough of the old college person and academic that he is just used to walking everywhere on foot.
Mm.
Um, Particularly because he kind of knows how to slip down side alleys and things like that. He's gotten very good at uh, moving through an urban environment and avoiding cameras and things like that. Um, Plus, you don't really get tired as a vampire; you get hungry. Um, so I think on foot, actually.
Okay.
The only concession he has is he does have an umbrella, more to cover the food than because he'd get cold while walking.
And plus, an umbrella is very supportive to the masquerade in this
Oh,
kind of
sure.
weather. So that's perfect. And if you're going through campus on foot, this is one of those evenings that it's very easy to slip in and out of shadows. This is a evening where it's very easy to go without notice because no one wants to be outside in this.
Hmm.
It's cold. It's wet. Portions of High Street are flooded. So this one of those things where you have to take the long way around on various aspects of this journey anyways to avoid the cold standing water or the drains from the sewer that are still vomiting back up water or refusing to take it at all and pushing it down the street. This will all dry out in 24, 72 hours, and then it'll be business as usual. Tell us, Josh, where does Kevin end up? Where is the meet point for this?
Yeah, so he walks downhill down Woodruff Avenue to almost to the shoe. In
Mm.
fact, he's going to walk by the shoe on Tuttle Park Drive and then back up Ives Drive, where he's going to end up at Baker Systems Engineering Building. There is a sequence that he knows from working with the Nosferatu previously that as he goes into Baker Systems and goes into the elevator there, he can punch in a sequence in the elevator and instead it will take him into the tunnels underneath OSU campus that are used to connect all of the buildings intertwined within the system, run gas lines and electric lines underneath the campus, and in certain instances has been used for escape tunnels, meeting rooms, things of that nature. Once underneath that, you're going to walk south towards where you know from being in the area that you're going to be right near Thompson Library, is where the
Mm.
meeting with Odex is set up for this evening. As you get into this lower area, you know you're pretty good about avoiding cameras topside, but you know from working with the Nosferatu down here that there's not a place in this tunnel that's not covered by at least 3 cameras as you walk through.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're
Wow.
not even trying at this point.
No.
As you round a corner, you'll see that the lights start to flicker and dim. It's not uncommon. This is a probably part of an automated system to warn off mortals just with a little bit of fear.
Mm-hmm.
You'll know that if there were other things going on right now, there may be weaponry in these walls as well, but those seem to have been turned off. At least that's what the Nosferatu have inclined to you in the past. As you come into a room, you'll see a table, computer, and Odex is sitting there in front of you. He is lit by his monitor and is probably playing something. He has his headphones on, seems to make note and give you a finger to give him a moment while he finishes whatever he's doing.
I'll take a half step forward into the room and put the meatball sub as an offering on the table in front of me, and then just kind of sit down and and wait for him to finish.
Okay. Once he gets a whiff of the meatball sub, it seems like it's a quick Alt F4 on the computer and whatever he was doing. Hopefully it was saved, but he'll do it again if he needs to. And how can I help you tonight?
How's it going, Odex?
It's going okay,
Good.
Kevin.
I
I mean, season 8 of Diablo is kind of okay. It's not bad.
uh yeah, it kind of went downhill after season 3.
Yeah, yeah. It's fine. They've got like 26 more seasons. I may just write my own.
Makes sense. didn't somebody get turned from Blizzard? I don't remember that.
We don't talk about those things.
Fair, fair. Um, yeah, I wanted to check in about the things we were texting about over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Um, you know, do you
Where do you
happen to
wanna-
have the
Where do you want to start?
let's talk major players. I'm
You want to talk major players? You want to talk payment first?
well, of course we have to talk payment.
Okay. So I've got multiple levels of information that I can share.
Hmm.
Nothing that I've got is worth a life boon. So we're not even going to go there. That's not necessary.
Well, that's
Okay.
good.
Yeah. We could talk trivial. We could talk minor. We can talk major. A trivial is something that's kind of easy for somebody to do. It's not going to take much time. It's kind of like bringing this.
Mhm.
That's a trivial. It's a great trivial.
Yeah,
So we'll count this as a trivial already paid.
great.
A minor is
Nice.
something that's going to take you a small amount of time. Maybe hacking into something that's light security, going to take you a little work.
Yeah.
That's a minor. A major is going to be more like it's probably a couple of nights worth of work. I may have to go do a little wet work, as it may be, spying on somebody on the council, things of that nature. That's what we're talking payment wise for those different books.
All right.
Okay. So, do you want to talk about the last, what was it you brought up there, Kevin?
The last council and some of the new players in town. I'm curious. So obviously, no vampires online, and no one
Sure.
spends any amount of time worrying about their digital security.
Nope,
But if
nobody.
they did, I'd be very curious to know what their digital security looks like.
If I sold you that, Kevin, then you'd be able to know and be able to go around me. And I'm okay with that if
Fair.
the price is high,
Okay.
because then I get paid well and I don't have to do the work.
Mm.
I'd much rather sell you information on the individuals you have questions about and sell it to you multiple times, or raise the price and give it to you so that you know who you can spy on electronically and who you can't. So you tell me what you want to do here.
I gotta hand it to you. You added microtransactions to reality. Good job.
Well, that's the Camarilla. That's what we do.
Yeah, I know. I know. I don't have to like it all the time, but I accept it.
And there are other options. None of them are better, but there are other options.
No, you're right. You're right. I like that idea. Let's start with the base level. Let's just what do you have and what can you offer me?
Well, I can tell you some stories about Celeste.
Okay.
I could hand you a folder on Celeste. I could tell you a couple of the power players that used to be in Columbus. And this can also be a give and take, because there are certain things that I'm definitely looking for that I'm
Okay.
willing to give you information on, or give you questions on, that if you bring me answers, we'll consider those boons paid already as well.
Okay. All right.
Like one of my main thought processes that I have is, why did the current prince appoint a scourge before any other officers?
Mm.
Why did she do that? It doesn't make any sense. She didn't appoint a seneschal or primogen, sheriff. All of those make more sense than appointing a scourge, and I have it doesn't make any sense. The likelihood of that happening is supremely slim.
Mm-hmm. Because the scourge is usually the last appointed, or maybe even not appointed at all, right?
Correct. And a lot of times they use them to hunt thin bloods or unacknowledged kindred. But she's even done Glass is even done to where she's put a thin blood under the account.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why are you appointing a scourge and putting a thin blood under the accounting? Like, these things are diametrically opposed to each other.
She put a
Don't make
thin blood under the accounting. That's interesting.
Uh-huh. And then she's brought in 3 people at least, or half a dozen, have gone to see this Ayan Muad, who's a member of that Principle of Faith group out of New Orleans.
Okay.
And 3 of the people that have gone there, I know. That'd be Ivy of the Banu Hakim,
Okay.
Leah, under one of the thin bloods under the accounting, and then Connor, that Ventru, who's also under the accounting.
Connor?
Mm-hmm.
That's Prim's boy, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Really? All right. I saw him at the announcement about Vienna. He looked supremely fucked up, actually.
I mean, maybe. I don't have much information on Prim.
Fair.
But then I also know that one of the other big questions I have is around the Primogen Council. And that,
Okay.
do you know? Well, wait a minute. I can't ask this question. I have to see what you know about this first, because there's a give and take here, and I'm going to give too much if I ask this question without you knowing.
That's so Nosferatu.
So, Carl, there's a key thing that the prince is doing to each of her officers. Do you know what that is?
I assume the answer to that is no.
Well, I would assume it's no too, which is why I'm asking the question, but I need to answer before I need to know if I'm going to charge you for what that thing is.
Mm-hmm. Bridgett, is this worth throwing a chop over? Is this something Kevin might have looked into, or is this the first I'm hearing of it?
This is absolutely the first that you would have been hearing about it. She's only held praxis for a couple of weeks.
Gotcha.
And at your level, no way you would have access to this particular piece of information.
I didn't figure, but All right. I don't know anything about it. This is the first I'm hearing about it, Odex. That is very interesting, though.
Okay. I'm going to charge you if you want. And again, it's your choice. I can drop this and we can move on. Or you're going to pay me a minor. If you find out why and give me the answer, that minor's covered.
Wow.
If you don't find out why, then that minor still stands. That increases my knowledge, increases your knowledge, increases our alliance together. We good?
Good. I can live with that.
All right. She's blood bonding all of her officers.
Okay, so Josh, this is my very first time running a vampire game. And this is going to be a lot of my audience members with the Symphony's first time engaging with vampire lore. You are like one of my local experts in our LARP, so I'm just going to ask you to explain what is the gravity of that situation? What is a blood bond, and why is that so profound or significant, I should say, that a prince is forced blood bonding her officers?
It's extremely gauche. First thing. A prince, by doing that, is going to look, if people find out, incredibly weak in that she can't, through social manipulation, favors, murder, whatever, maintain her praxis. That she's doing it through blood bonding and controlling the city. That is incredibly gauche, and other kindred would travel with certainly Bruja, more than almost any other clan who express freedom and things of those natures, would be absolutely furious kind of to learn that. But it's not done.
It's not illegal. It's not against a tradition. It could be considered scandalous depending on how your harpy wants to adjudicate it, but Josh's articulation is spot on. It's concerning on a few different levels. Now, Josh, tell us, what is a blood bond?
So a blood bond is to fully enact a blood bond. It's what kindred do to maintain the masquerade with mortals. That's how they make a ghoul. It is taking a trait of your blood and giving it to someone else, be that a mortal, be that another kindred, be that a ghoul, and you are starting to enforce loyalty and love with that blood. If it's done over 3 consecutive nights to one vampire, you are bloodbound to them. You would not take almost any action that would harm them or go against them without a significant force of your will to even lie to them.
Okay.
When you're fully bound. When you're partially bound, it's more difficult. And I'm not as familiar with V5. And I don't know if there's a mechanic in V5 around it.
There's a few mechanics for it, but we'll get to the mechanics when we start actually addressing it. But so far right now, you are spot on for how By Night Studios and V5 is handling. The first drink, the drinker feels strongly for the vampire. On the third one, that's when the fantasies become. They're the center figure in their life, the most important. And then the third is just full devotion. It's full slavery.
Yep.
The drinker is now a thrall. Well done, Josh. Thank you for that.
No problem. Okay. I'm going to step back into Odex here for a second. So from this, Kevin, what I'm trying to figure out, every prince has something they want, whether it's power, respect, fear. I'm leaning toward blind loyalty is what she wants, which is why she's starting to do this. But that's a theory based off of a small nugget of fact.
That's so interesting to me. I wonder why the Dragon of Columbus would want to blood bond everybody.
I mean, she's definitely dangerous. She has almost as good of information network as we do.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't talk about her outside of this chamber where I'm 100% sure she can't listen in.
Noted. All right. Yeah, that is something I will definitely do what I can to look into for you.
Okay.
I think that's very interesting, and I think that's definitely worth paying for.
Okay. Good. Now, Celeste was the next thing, or I mean, I can tell you a little bit about the last court. I know the previous prince's name and I know the previous Nosferatu's name, but that's not going to help you a ton right now.
All right, that's fair.
So,
what about movers and shakers? Do you got any word on who's? You guys are the rats in the walls, if you will.
Yeah.
And
I resemble that.
Yeah. So what are you hearing through those walls about who's the movers and shakers now?
I mean, I definitely think Celeste is probably one of them.
Good to know.
Definitely ones that I've already mentioned, Celeste and Ayan Muhammad.
Muhammad
is probably definitely one, although he doesn't have a formal position, I don't think, by my paperwork database. He punches on his keyboard for a little bit and looks around. Bridgett, are there other individuals?
I got you. Your fingers go across this keyboard and you are looking at this coded text that makes sense to you but wouldn't make sense to anyone else looking at your screen. And when you are populating the file that your family is cultivating on this Ayan Mohammed, you do know for a fact that right after Prince Neoglass appointed this Scourge position, which again, Camarilla has let that go. The fact that she's instituting it is interesting, especially straight out of the gate. The very next appointment she did was this principal of the faith position with this Ayan Muhammad that apparently she brought somewhere out of New Orleans. Now, what you're seeing on your internal network is that the NOS are already on this in New Orleans. Your family is just undergoing their standard trading information situation. So you will have very likely some significant information on Ayan Muhammad incoming, but your family on a higher level is negotiating it now.
Okay. Yeah, those are the main two that I have information on. I should have some more coming on Aya Muhammad. He is out of NOLA, I can tell you that. And I should have some more information, I don't know, in a couple weeks, maybe a month at the latest. Hopefully sooner, but I don't know. It's going to depend when it crosses my desk.
Makes sense. Makes sense. These things take their own time.
Oh, this hood is hot. God. Okay.
Holy shit.
Okay. So, what else?
Let's tell you what. Let's go with the basic information on Celeste.
Cool. Basic information on Celeste. You sure? I've got this dossier right here in my hand. I can just hand it to you.
Oh, that's such bait. That is delicious.
I mean, I can read a sentence or two, but I'm going to charge you for the sentence or two. And then if it piques I'm going to pick the best ones from the dossier as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to charge you again for the dossier, or you could just pay for the dossier.
You got me over a barrel here, Odex, but you're right. All right. What do you want? What do you want for the dossier?
I mean, I think it's major. It's 2 pages. It covers mortal history, convictions, touchstones, who her sire was, who her enemies are, what she wants to do. Like, I mean, it's good stuff. I've even highlighted a couple things.
Interesting. Any details on digital countermeasures?
Hold on, let me control.
And Odex, you would know that this woman is very off the radar when it comes to technology by choice. It sounds like she's one of those kindred that has an aversion to it.
Yeah, no digital countermeasures. She wouldn't go that way.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, yeah, it did take 25 years to convince her to get a pager.
To get that pager, correct.
All right. What do you want for the dossier?
It feels like a major to me.
Okay.
I'm leaning toward 2 majors, but I'm trying to be nice.
I appreciate that. Do you want do you have a major in mind, or is this a hanging major?
Oh, this would be more of a hanging major.
Okay.
When I need something, I'm going to go, hey, I need you to do this, and you owe me a major favor.
Who doesn't like a sword of Damocles? All right.
I mean, it's not. If it were a life boon, it would be a sword of Damocles.
Yeah.
Because a life boon is you'd lay down your life for something that I told you to do. This is like maybe a dagger of Damocles.
Okay.
And for Symphony fans, when we're talking about prestation, this is currency in the world of darkness. So Josh did a great job of kind of itemizing what those levels mean, from a trivial to a minor to a major to a life boon. But when you are exchanging these, they're effectively, I'm not saying blank checks, but they're unwritten debts. So what this major could get called in for could be something that you're very deeply uncomfortable doing. It could go against your touchstones. It can go against your conviction. And the only person that can adjudicate where it actually falls, if you go like, no, that's not worth a major, and they say it is, it has to get ruled on by the Harpy. But you're basically handing blank checks to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Carl / Kevin, you would know this just from your time in society. Those checks can get reassigned to other people.
Yeah.
So you're handing a major boon to Odex. Odex could sell it to someone in his family. He could go sell it to Celeste. He could go sell it to Prim. He can exchange your major for another major from somebody else, or even a trivial, depending on who the person is.
Sure, because a trivial from someone high up enough would be a major for anybody else.
Correct. Yep. A trivial over Prince Glass is going to go further than possibly a minor over like one of you guys that's 1 or 2 status. Correct.
Yeah. All right.
It's a big investment.
Okay. I'm willing to take that on, but I'm curious what I can convince you to do to not transfer that particular major.
Not transfer it.
Yeah, you keep it for yourself. I'm comfortable with you having it. I trust you because we've worked together before.
Hmm. Okay.
And you know me. You know what I can do.
I know, I know, I know. Okay. So you're talking, you don't want me to transfer, you want me to keep it. All right, well,
Non-transferable major boon.
here's
Interesting.
what I want. I want season tickets to the Buckeyes. You got enough money, you can make that happen.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be on the 50-yard line. And I'm probably going to end up selling them because they have more noon games than anybody else in the country. And
Fair.
I can't go to a noon game. Um, I want you to swear something to me.
Okay.
I want you to swear you'll not ask me or any other Nosferatu about Mr. Prim ever. You already brought it up once, and I almost kicked you out.
Okay.
So this is what I want.
I agree.
Okay, great.
Kevin will pull out his. Actually, we're underground, and this is in a Nosferatu sanctum, so there's no way he's got signal.
Oh,
I was.
you absolutely have signal. You
Oh, I do.
absolutely have signal.
Oh, okay.
You would probably be very cautious about what you would put in it because you're going
Mhm.
to assume that that signal is tapped 7 different times before it reaches the surface.
So he's gonna take out his burner phone that he set up exactly for this situation,
Sure.
tap a couple of buttons, and Odex's computer is going to ding.
Okay.
Season tickets to the Buckeye on the 50-yard line.
Great. He checks the seats. Okay. Yeah, those are pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions you have, Kevin? Go ahead.
Yeah. Only last thing I had was I know we're both interested in this, and I'm sure you've been looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
Any word out of Vienna?
No, not a damn thing. Not a single word, not a peep, not a tweet, not a truth, not a blue sky message, nothing on Discord, nothing on the dark web, nothing on Reddit. No, I'm not getting nothing. Zero,
Nothing.
zip, zilch, nada. Yeah, no.
Is there any theorizing as to why? I mean, that complete digital lockdown is incredibly hard to do.
Well,
What does Odex genuinely think? You've got full carte because I know what's going on, but what would Odex think for to have that level of lockdown?
I think it's a play by some other vampire. Some vampires controlling these hunters behind the scenes.
Hmm.
Whether it's a super powerful Sombra or Ventrue, somebody with Dominate, somebody that can orchestrate in mass amounts of that thought the Tremere were getting too uppity for what they're capable of and wanted to put them in their place in a very, very hard manner. Now, there are some also ancient enemies of the Tremere that could be. Could be the Zemis, could be the, yeah, I'm not even going to bring that other clan up. Starts with an S, and if you know what I mean, that's fine, but we're not even going to say the name.
Yep.
So it very easily could have been one of those historical enemies that has been biding their time that finally saw an opening and took it, or could be some of those intertwined with each other. To dominate a large contingent of hunters to go in through the day, you'd need a clan would dominate, and that leads to the Ventrue La Sombra. But it could have just as easily been the hunters were just a feint and people saw what they wanted, but the real power was in something else.
Okay.
But this is just 100% guess. I have no actual fact to base this on, so I'm not charging you.
Appreciate that.
The moment I have a fact and charge you, you'll know.
I am keenly aware of that.
Good.
Not a question, but maybe food for thought
Mm-hmm.
about Vienna.
Uh-huh.
I know the Tremere are very, very good at keeping their local chantries under wraps.
Sure.
But a keen observer might figure out roughly how many Tremere are in a given city if they watch over a long enough time.
Sure.
So my food for thought is, what's the largest remaining chantry?
I had to guess, knowing. Well, hold on. Let me type in a few things here. Let me do a couple searches on my network.
Okay.
You can see in his glasses that it looks like Windings flashing across his screen, but he's reading it, and you know enough. It's not Windings. That's just a good representation of what it might be.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it might be. I mean, are you talking in the world? Or are you talking in the U.S.?
Let's go
what do you
continental
want to
United
know?
States. How about that?
Continental United States? You're talking D.C. I mean, the whole city's built on Masonic from the ground up. It's nothing but hermetic thaumaturgy baked into a city.
Mm.
If Vienna didn't exist, hey, that's an interesting thought. The Tremere also have dominating clan. It could have been an internal hit.
Mm.
It'd be really hard for them based off the things that have been said, but not impossible.
Fair enough. All right.
I'm just curious, and I would love Josh to help me just storytell this. When that chantry fell in Vienna, I can only imagine that the Nos were on double time globally to hide the various masquerade breaches that hit in that moment in DC when the second largest chantry, at least the largest chantry here in the United States, went through a full obliteration as far as the blood bonds being broken, them recognizing that something like, what were some of the things just going back and forth that hit the news that you guys either worked over or what was an event? Just walk me through, because I'm sure that was a very busy weekend for you guys. You were probably cleaning up messes before you even recognized what happened when every Tremere either frenzied or went offline. Something significant happened in DC. Let's establish that together really fast, Josh.
So it's real easy to cover up a single kindred going nuts in the modern age. It's pretty terrible. It depends on where it is. It could either be a family slaughter that you cover it up with. It could be something worse with high caliber firearms from somebody from a tower. It could be any kind of shooting that'll make the news.
Yeah.
Can cover that up real quick. Mortals really don't want to know what it is we do. And they're really easy to jump on whatever it is that fits into their mind view of what the world really looks like. So a gas main explosion covers up a lot of things. A bus running into something can cover stuff up from time to time. Tanker trucks spilling. It just depends on what it is you need. DC, I would say there were at least 4 of those. Take your pick.
Happening all that same weekend.
Yeah.
So Kevin, that's something that you would just be able to do a Rolodex in your head going like, Oh shit! So if the largest chantry here in the continental U.S. is D.C., that was that weekend.
Mm-hmm. All right. The timeline lines up. Makes sense. All right. Well, as usual, I
Do you want this hard copy or do you want this electronic?
electronic.
Are you sure? Because things can happen to electronic media, which is why I actually printed it out.
Give me the file.
I'm curious, when you reach out, Kevin, and you take the file from Odex, the one thing we haven't heard yet, and with this delicious makeup that you have, we need to hear it. What does Odex look like? What does Odex
Oh
smell
man,
like?
Odex smells normal. Actually, probably smells strongly at the moment of Axe body spray on a level that is uncomfortable. You're guessing that's to cover up that he probably hasn't showered and lives in rainwater drain pipes that have been pumped out, but he's probably had to go through them from time again.
Yep.
His skin is very reptilian. As you get close, it looks green, but it's not uniformly reptilian. Like parts of it are reptilian, but parts of it seem to be like sloughing off. But some of them are like really nice scales. Not very many. And you're not sure if those are he's put them there or they're part of his skin or it's almost like jewelry.
Okay.
It's a little unsettling.
All
Woo.
right.
And every Nos you've ever met, Kevin, comes with this same hideous and vile appearance on some level. They constantly suffer, mechanically, a -2 on all mundane social challenges when their natural appearance is visible. They are heinous and vile by nature.
On the outside.
On the outside.
Mm-hmm.
On the inside, he's just a fun-loving, Tony's meatball sub grubbing secrets exchanger.
All right. A pleasure doing business with you as always, Odex. One quick question for next time.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Thai, Greek, or Ethiopian?
Ooh. Text me on the day of.
Fair. Same
I like a good
or...
hot pot. You know, one of the things you should do sometime is we should rent out a hot pot overnight. We'll need somebody that can dominate like the staff so that covers the masquerade after the fact. Or I guess I could ghoul a staff member. That seems like a lot of work.
No. Then you've got what, a ghoul hot pot ghoul?
I mean,
that'd be useful. Actually, that'd be pretty useful for you.
Yeah, you would promise me with a good time. No, that seems way too. No. Well,
No.
We'll just have to go sometime.
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
Okay. Not worth a major. I'd pay you a minor for that.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, Kevin's gonna say thank you, and I take probably by the time he's at the door, Odex has probably turned back to the computer and resumed whatever he was doing when he came in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, yeah, and I will make my way out of the tunnels, which always seems to change, but I always seem to find my way there.
Kevin, you leave behind a rather sizable debt with your friend here, a major, a non-exchangeable major. You also dropped a minor for some earlier information, but you're leaving more informed than you were coming in, but you also have a series more questions and things to investigate, a way to reconcile that minor, which I thought was a brilliant play by Odex, Very Nosferatu genre. And you are able to head back into the sogginess of the night. Odex, your computer across the bottom has just little color-coded pings that let you know when a motion sensor has been activated, an entity has departed. Kevin is not the only person in these underground chambers tonight. He's just the only person that you were particularly meeting with.
Yep.
Your sub is behind you, and stepping out of one of the walls is your broodmate. What is her name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca steps out of the wall. She's one of your younger ones. She is your direct broodmate. Rebecca carries several scars from her time before her embrace. She carries more from her time after the embrace, where you manifest in scales. She has the loose hanging skin that pulls at her face and at her shoulder and at her breasts. She went through that phase where she kept trying to cut it off and sew it off each night just to try to, the stitches were better than just.
I tried to tell her
looking
that
like
never
she was-
works, but she didn't want to listen.
No. She's good at what she does as far as moving information from place to place, but you know in your heart that embracing her Nosferatu was a risk. It's not that she was so vain about her appearance before, but she didn't transition well to what you are now.
Yeah. Not everybody can take being ugly.
No. She misses the sun, but she misses being able to socialize and be with people more. She's very kind, focused in that way, in her envy and her loss. And she looks to you. She looks to the meatball sub. You're going to have to report it to him. You know that, right?
Uh-huh.
Are you going to?
Horse.
You lying to me? And you know when she gets nervous, she starts pulling at that melted flap of skin that hangs beneath her forearm.
I look her dead in the eye. No, I wouldn't do that. He's not worth our lives.
Over a brouhaha?
He's not worth it. I'll absolutely report it. What are you talking about? He's not worth that.
Okay. Wait, I just get confused sometimes. You are going to report it or you're not going to report it. Sorry.
You said I have to report it, right?
Yeah, but you don't always. Yeah, we're supposed to report it, Odex.
I report it when we have to report it. And I wouldn't lie to you, because that risks both of our lives. Are you going to report it?
Back. We're supposed to report it, Odex.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to report it. She limps over to the chair that Bruja was sitting in, and she slumps into it, and she immediately begins unwrapping your meatball sub.
Uh-huh.
And she looks up at you. Can I have half?
Uh-huh.
She takes her half and she pulls her knees up into her chest, and it looks like she's getting ready to eat. Something about your entire brood, you guys can all eat food. It's just some merit that you guys got. I don't know what happened, but apparently you and all of your direct siblings can enjoy mortal food.
Josh to
Tell
ST.
me.
Who's she talking about me reporting it to? I have what I think it is.
It's Prim.
Yeah. Okay.
An inquiry was posted about Prim, and you guys are. Yep. She pulls her knees up into her chest and she's getting ready to go into the sandwich. And she looks at you.
We can't go into Tony's, by the way. You know that, right? Like, they have cameras, so, like, we can't go in. So if we want to keep getting Tony's, keeping this brouhaha alive is useful. Him swearing to never ask about it again, if I do make the report, will be included in my report. And that will be rewarded. And it may keep him alive.
We're not supposed to get close with people outside of the clan. As she bites into this still steaming.
It's not like I can DoorDash Tony's down here. I'm not close. He's a delivery driver. It just takes me more work to set up a new one.
Okay, Odex. Okay. Oh shit, your sound went off. Say it again.
No, I said it extremely quietly.
Oh. I'm gonna bring that in character. Her eyes flicker up. She goes, "What?"
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Certainly didn't say that I have to explain this to you nightly.
I just want to make sure that we don't get hurt. I just want to make sure you don't get hurt.
Listen, everybody gets hurt. The Nosferatu get hurt the moment they're embraced. None of us know that better than you. But there are calculated risks we have to take every so often to determine what is important to us and how are we going to get ahead. So if you want me to be truthful, I haven't made a decision yet if I'm going to report this or not. And I'll be truthful, but the moment you report it and I don't, then one of us is going to die, and it's probably me. And the moment that I report it and you don't, then that's going to be vice versa. So I'm going to decide what we should do with this and what is the best avenue for us to advance with this, whether that's telling Mr. Prim or not, and we're going to move ahead with whatever the best decision is.
Okay, Odex.
I mean, unless this is the moment you're going to try and take me off the board and go against me.
No.
Okay.
No.
Great.
Although this could be a very interesting time to take you off the board and go against you. And she smiles, that lopsided smile, and she lifts up one of the hanging folds of skin that drapes over the left side of her mouth, just high enough where she can actually shove that sub into a top maw that is missing all of its teeth and a bottom maw that is just a ragged, jagged series of multi-level teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And she allows the flap to fall back down. And she kind of bobs her head and she chews happily. And you know that passive threat that you just made was more than enough to keep Rebecca quiet. You also know she's one of the few people, clan or in clan, that would never turn against you.
Yeah. Probably because I blood dogged her partially.
Well, control is control.
You got to do what you got.
How many levels bonded is she? Let's get that clarified for Rebecca now.
Probably just one, and I would assume she doesn't know. I probably did it extremely discreetly.
A one-step secret bond. You have Rebecca on leash. And arguably, That Bruja too. And that, friends of the symphony, is where this symphonic note, Dossiers, ends for the night. We're doing our introductions at the end. Carl, please be so kind to tell us who you are, where people can find you if you want to be found, and who you played tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carl. I played Kevin Mercer, the Bruja. I can be found kicking around the Symphony Entertainment Discord, and usually being prodded on the back end to make assets and keep the editing of these videos coming along.
Which we deeply appreciate. And Josh, this is your very first time over on the Symphony. Welcome. Thank you for establishing some very necessary things that I needed, which was Nosferatu genre in this world and also prestation. Josh, tell us who you are, where people can find you if you want to be found. And now that the latex has been pulled off of your head, who you played tonight.
Yeah. So my name is Josh Hines. I can be found at Harley's Angels, a chapter of the career starts now in honor of my daughter that we started, who passed from brain cancer at the end of 2024 after a 17-month battle. We use things like this and other charity things to raise funds, raise awareness. So you can definitely find us at thecurestartsnow.org and look for Harley's Angels as a chapter. This is Pediatric Brain Cancer Awareness Month. We've kind of rebranded that to Pediatric Brain Cancer Action Month. So if this comes out in May when it's filmed, throw Carl under the bus a little bit.
Right. Hurry up, Carl.
Yeah, you can find us there. You can also find me on Facebook at thecurestartsnowcar.com or on Facebook, The Cure Starts Now Car. You can find all our information there as well. I played Odex tonight, the Nosferatu mover and shaker technology nerd, as well as information broker. So,
yes. Josh, thank you so much for joining. I personally would love to have you back on. You were an absolute delight. Thank you so much for bringing your education and your experience with us. Carl, per usual, you're one of the best part of waking up. Symphony, thank you guys so much. And Patreon backers, stay tuned because I might work with Josh on some collaborative efforts with the Cure Starts Now. In our local LARP, there are things that you can buy called retests. So you make a donation to this organization and your character gets versus retest. That might tie in beautifully with some of the activations we have over here. We can support a great cause. We can support a great family. And then you can also ruin your favorite kindred of Columbus. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
Bye.